they're indistinguishable within this model, which means that even if consciousness were not to be found to survive death, that the experience of the prior life is available in the current life for use as though there were a discarnate consciousness.
That's fascinating. Right?
So the issue to be resolved to solve the model is, which we haven't been able to do in a scientific sense, is does consciousness survive physical death? And we've addressed it, we've tried it, but we don't know how to get a handle on that one at this point. And if it's not true, then that forces us to the supernatural model, or it forces us to be able to find a model for consciousness that fits verifiable fact.
Edgar, you talked about how the collective and collective intention and opinion is the world's second major superpower.
Well, that's not my original statement, but other people have said that, and I think it's a good idea, yeah.
Well, I think it hit me more deeply in the context of everything that you had said before you said that, and I suddenly realized, wow, it's actually true.
Let's hope that's true.
Yeah.
Let's hope that world opinion and the world's people are coalescing in their value system quickly enough to make that true.
Right.
If there's any evidence of about the invasion of Iraq, then if that phenomenon seems to be a valid interpretation, we'll have to see whether it holds up or not.
Right.
But it is rather clear that there's a huge outcry against national policy of the United States with the invasion of Iraq. And many of us in the United States are terribly distraught by that policy.
We did a recent issue in the magazine on collective intelligence, and so that's one of the reasons I think why I had more of a sense of how important it is, what you were saying, and how significant it is that we make the most of the power of collective wisdom or collective intelligence or collectivity. But I wondered if you could describe how you see the distinction between one's own personal intelligence and what happens when you have a collective phenomenon, like how you would describe, because it feels to me like a quantum.
Well, it is a quantum phenomenon. The quantum hologram does describe that. What we're seeing is that the collective consciousness is the summation of the quantum holographic information. So exactly how to model that, I don't know at the moment. But the fact that all matter emits energy and information in accordance with its life history and the thought process in the case of humans, then we have a consciousness field up there, or a thought field, that is representative of the collective of the species. And it would appear that that's what we tap into when we say that the man is conscious, but society creates the rules, and the rules create the life, but the life creates the rules. So it's this interactive process. And the collective quantum hologram is what Sheldrake would call a morphogenetic field.
Can you describe how would you describe the quantum hologram?
Well, it is the collection. It is the emission reabsorption phenomenon. The emission aspect of it, when studied as a group phenomenon, is seen to carry the event history in the life of the physical object. So it's like fingerprints.
Holographically.
In a holographic sense.
And is there a non-local?
And it's and the quantum hologram is non-local. It's a non-local information structure.
Which means that
it's everywhere and instantaneous. If that's all true. I mean, we've demonstrated that non-locality is a quantum property.
Right.
We have demonstrated that psychism and intuitive knowledge and translation of knowledge is a non-local process. The only one we know is quantum hologram. So we can say, until shown otherwise, that the quantum hologram is the quantum information mechanism responsible for intuitive type information. And since it carries information about the physical object, it is, and it seems to be available to future generations or or others of the species. And what we're picking up can not only individual, it is page specific, we say. It doesn't get all mixed up. You can pick up the general information, or you get affected by the general information, or you can pick up the specific information, and that's intuitive and psychism.
Right. Do you see something beyond this, beyond the collective? We've gone from the individual to the collective. What, a third quantum? Well,
there may be. I haven't squeezed all the juice out of this one yet. We've still got a lot of work to do to understand where we can go with quantum biology, for example. It's rather clear that probably most of the subtle energy acupuncture system is amenable to understanding within quantum principles, but we haven't gone that far yet.
You're talking about a fundamentally non-dual reality.
Yeah.
So the implications of that for global healing
pretty profound.
Are quite profound.
Yeah.
Could you say anything about that?
Well, that's one of the things I think is probably beyond most people to grasp of why that would be so. But what it really is saying is that we're starting to bring an understanding of our physical and our spiritual nature into a common model. So that it's not mystical, mysterious, or whatever, it's understandable.
Do you think that in a certain way the whole problem, the whole dilemma of the human condition has been the fact that the spiritual and material have been
at odds with each other? Yeah. Absolutely do, and the fact that the transcendent experience, which is available in all cultures, or noted in all cultures, when you attempt to reduce it to a formulae or an understanding, it comes out different in different cultures, and we call that religion. So that our religious beliefs and our conflicts over religious beliefs seem more profound to us than the similarities or the unity of our philosophic and physical reality.
But what's interesting, Edgar, is that because we've had in traditional cultures, for instance, nature worship, pantheism, or where there's an expression of the spiritual through some aspect of the material.
But all cultures have tried to explain themselves in terms of some spiritual reality, and that's what we're talking about.
Yes,
is that the experiencing in all cultures is virtually the same.
Right.
The interpretation is sufficiently different that we fight over each other's whose interpretation is the right one.
Right.
Whereas we should, as we're trying to do at this conference, honor the interpretations and recognize our experience is basically the same.
Right.
The sort of human problems that we have are basically the same.
Right.
And somewhere out there is a way to look at it that we can agree upon.
Right.